One of the world's largest free trade agreements could be in for a radical overhaul. US President Donald Trump has outlined the terms for a preliminary trade deal between the United States and Mexico. Trump has long wanted to scrap the 24-year-old North American free trade agreement, which also included Canada. The new United States-Mexico trade agreement would still need to be signed off by US Congress. Mexico's president says he hopes Canada will join the deal, giving the country a matter of days to agree to the terms. The total trade between the three countries under the existing NAFTA deal amounts to over $1 trillion each year and includes cars, metals and food.
This is something that's very special for our manufacturers and for our farmers from both countries, for all of the people that work for jobs. It's also great trade, and it makes it a much more fair bill, and we are very, very excited about it. We made it much simpler, much better for both countries. Canada will start negotiations shortly. I'll be calling the Prime Minister very soon, and we'll start negotiation. And if they'd like to negotiate fairly, we'll do that. You know, they have tariffs of almost 300% on some of our dairy products, so we can't have that. We're not going to stand for that.
Well, let's talk to John McLaren, professor in the economics department at the University of Virginia. John, welcome. President Trump has been a very vocal critic of NAFTA, describing it as the worst trade deal ever made. Like many other deals, he felt the United States simply wasn't getting a great deal. Is this really a victory for the American worker, as he describes it?
From what I've heard so far about the preliminary deal, I would not say so. I'm actually somewhat concerned with some of the things we've been hearing. One of the big issues is rules of origin. So the free trade agreement, like the NAFTA, provides for free trade for anything shipped between the member countries, but then you have to define what constitutes a North American produced product, and that's what rules of origin are. And there are thousands of pages of rules in the agreement for defining what is and is not a North American produced product eligible for duty-free status. So the big issue here was rules of origin for automobiles. Previously, in the original agreement, rules of origin for automobiles were very strict. A product had to be 62.5% made in either the U.S., Canada, or Mexico in order to qualify for duty-free treatment under the NAFTA. And that raises the cost of producing a car quite a bit. It means you can't import a more cheaply produced input from some other country. And this preliminary agreement apparently raises that rule of origin to 75%, which is extremely strict. That's at the highest range of rules of origin I've ever heard of.
Okay, so who has the most to lose, John, if this trade deal goes ahead in its present form?
Well, it would cause a problem for the big automakers. And it could actually cause a problem. It's hard to tell, but it could seriously cause a problem for auto workers in places like Ohio and Michigan, because if you enforce such a strict rule of origin, you could discourage investment into the auto sector, and actually hurt job creation. So at some point, it actually becomes cheaper to produce your car without respecting the rules of origin, even in another country, and pay the 2.5% import duty on those imported cars, rather than respect these very strict rules of origin in order to get that duty-free status within the agreement.
John McLaren at the University Department in Virginia, thank you very much.